We're on page 2 of level 4, the fourth test, and you are asked to identify intervals again. Now they're using the word intervals, so notice that. Until then, you only called it like a second, third, or fourth. Remember, you count the first note, the next line, that would be 2, and the next note is on the space 3, so that's a third. Now remember, I said when you have one note to the next note, one note to the next note, those are called melodic intervals, like a melody. This is a melody, right? So it's one note at a time. That's how you know melodic. So you have to identify if it's a second, third, fourth, or fifth. But here we have the harmonic interval. And what does that mean? It harmonizes, okay? So there's a chord. So you count 1 on F, 2 is G, 3 is A, and 4 is B. So that's a fourth. All you have to write is fourth. But here's another one, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like a fourth too. So if you have any questions about intervals, come and ask me. I'm trying though to explain as much as I can, and I want you to study your lesson before you get to your class so that you know what you're going to be doing on at least 1 or 2 pages that day. We're looking at a scale that's in the key of D major. Now if you would please find your chart of scales at the end of packet 2 if you have forgotten. I believe that whoever I ask how many sharps in the key of D you do not remember. I would like you to try to remember your key signatures. So the key of D is really supposed to have 2 sharps in it. Now they want you to mark the half steps with slurs, okay, where they occur. So I'll go ahead and, actually I could play the scale for you, but here's the easier thing. Say start, so that's whole note, half note. So there's where you're going to make the slur. If just remember the pattern of whole, half, and then whole, half. And you can see it's always going to be the last 2. So that's what you do. You make slurs first, then you have to draw the sharps or the flats that are needed before the note in the major scale. So if this is the D scale, remember you had 2 sharps in the D scale. You had an F sharp and a C sharp. Usually in the key signature you put the sharps at the beginning. In this case they want you to write it in front of the note. So you see the line going through the F line, you see the space going through the C space. So now we know F is sharp, so D, E, F, so you're going to write a sharp there, and you're going to write a sharp in front of C. So remember how to make your sharps, okay? Always do it in pencil. G major, now we're in the bass clef here. That's what they want you to notice so that you can identify the whole steps, half steps. So you're probably going to make the slurs here as well. And in G major, we had 1 sharp. Always try to play your scale so you remember. So if this is G, then F was sharp right there. So, oh, sorry, this is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. There it is right there. Okay, so you only make 1 sharp there. But remember, later you're going to see those sharps at the beginning there. Okay. Over here you're going to have to identify the key signature, so for sure you have to take out your scales chart and remember your scales. I can tell you there's Father Charles Goes, so the answer to that is what? 3 sharps is an A scale, if you remember that. 1 flat is an F, there's a G scale. There's 4 sharps, do you remember E scale? And 1 sharp, it is on F, so that's the key of G. Now on the lines below, the distance. Alright, now this is a little tricky. I'm going to kind of help you play it on the piano. So you're going to just have to identify a whole step or a half step between all these notes. Use W and H. So I'm on F sharp to G, that's very close. You can tell for sure that's a half step. Here's E to F sharp. You're skipping F, so that's a whole step right there. And I do want to just point out this last one over here, to C sharp to B sharp. Did you know that B doesn't have a black key, but it still has a sharp? What is the rule for sharps? It's the next key up. So if they want a B sharp, the next key up is C. So that's where you play a B sharp. So from C sharp to B sharp is just a half step. Now I'm going to just quick go up here one more time. And in the D major scale, they are asking you now to identify the tonic. I don't see it here, but I read it before, and they want you to identify the tonic. Now, once we start getting into different definitions like this, you might ask your mom to check out a music dictionary at some music store. This is a very good one, but it's an older one. Now here's one that says Mel Bay. Mel Bay is a big music company that has a lot of books out, etc. So that probably would do for you too. But go to a music store, especially if you're already out of your packets, go to a music store and buy a dictionary so that you know you're learning more terms. Now the tonic of a scale is always the first note. So they want you to write the tonic note, and that's going to be right here. In the last measure of each staff, draw the tonic key note. The key note or tonic is the first note of the scale, so that's a D. And over here, because you're in the bass clef, this is a G, so the tonic is G. It's very simple, really. Alright, and I think we were over here now, and you're just going to count 4 time. 1, 2, 3. This is the first time we're seeing eighth notes, for and. You remember that I like you to say when you see the beam represents a flag. One flag means you have 2 eighth notes here. And when you see the flag, the beams, count it as 1 and or 2 and. In this measure it's on the 4th beat, so you're going to write 4 and just make a plus sign for and. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, now watch this one because it's tricky. This is 1 and 2 and. What is this? An eighth rest. So it's the second part of this beat, of the second beat. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Alright, you should be able to finish this page.